Mathematics, Quarter 1, Week 1, Day 1. Our learning objectives are, at the end of the lesson, the learners are able to represent and describe a circle and identify real-life objects that represent a circle. Now let us define what is a rectangle. A rectangle has 4 sides and 4 square corners. While a square has 4 sides of equal lengths and 4 square corners. A triangle has 3 sides and 3 corners. You can see the sample on the screen. Now let us define what a side is. A side is a line segment that connects 2 consecutive corners of a 2-dimensional shape. It is a boundary of the shape. While a corner is a point where 2 sides meet. Students, what can you see on the screen? That's right, dot is a clock. Now, can you trace the outline of the clock on the board? Now, let us answer the following. Number 1, what do you notice about the shape drawn on the board? That's right, it is round. Number 2, does the shape have sides? The answer is no, it does not have sides. How do you know? The answer is it does not have a line segment as its boundary. And number 3, does the shape have corners? The answer is no, it does not have corners. How do you know? Clearly, since the shape has no sides, then it does not have a pointed part where 2 sides meet. Take note, students, that we call a round shape with no sides and corners a circle. Now let me ask you again, students, what is a circle? Now, students, here is an activity. As you can see on the screen, there is a lot of objects. Now, which of the objects has a circle? Day 2. Our learning objectives are, at the end of the lesson, the learners are able to compare circles and distinguish a circle from a rectangle, a square, and a triangle. Prepare 3 different cutouts of each shapes: circle, rectangle, square, and triangle. Randomly place these cutouts on the board. Have the learners group these cutouts according to shape. When the grouping is done, ask them to identify each groups of shapes. Next, have some learners write the name of each group of shapes in the second column. Once completed, have the learners read the name of each shape. Then, ask the learner to complete column 3 and 4 of the first row of shapes. Do the same with the other shapes. Once completed, the table should look like on the screen. Now let us answer the following. Number 1, how do you compare a rectangle and a square? Number 2, how do you compare a rectangle and a triangle? Number 3, how do you compare a square and a triangle? Number 4, How do you compare a circle from a rectangle and a square? Number 5. How do you compare a circle and a triangle? Now, students, can be a circle big or small? The answer is yes, because circles can have different sizes. Now, to summarize the lesson, what makes a circle different from a rectangle, a square, and the triangle? Day 3. Our learning objectives are, at the end of the lesson, the learners are able to represent and describe a half circle and a quarter circle, and identify real-life objects that represent a half circle and a quarter circle. Students, what shape is this? That's right. It is a circle. How do you know it is a circle? Because it is round and has no sides and corners. Into how many equal parts did you divide the circle? Now, what do we call each part? Why do you say each part is one half? Students, take note that one half of the whole circle is called a half circle. Students, how do you describe a half circle? Remember also that half circle is also called a semicircle. Now, how many half circles are there in a circle? Now, students, how many half circles do you have? Into how many equal parts were each half circle divided? First, we have a whole circle. Then we divided the circle into two equal parts. Each part is one half of the whole circle. We called one half of a circle as half circle. Next, we divided each half circle into two equal parts. The whole circle has been divided into four equal parts. If we divide a whole circle into four equal parts, what part of the whole circle is each part? Each equal part is 1/4 of the circle. Remember, students, that 1/4 of the whole circle is called a quarter circle. Now, how do you describe a quarter circle? Is a quarter circle one half of a semicircle? Day 4. Learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, the learners are able to decompose composite figures made up of two or more familiar shapes, like square, rectangle, triangle, circle, half circle, quarter circle. What is decomposing? Decomposing a shape is breaking a shape into two or more parts. Students, how do we decompose a figure? Thank you for listening. End of week 1.